We're not talking about the blob. We're talking about the other big pile of goo that moves around in the movie. We're talking about the stuff.
So tell me about the stuff.
The stuff, the taste that makes you hungry for more.
Tell me a little bit about your relationship with the movie The Stuff, because you would definitely be the expert on this movie, considering I'm pretty sure this was Eric's first watch, and it was probably my second or third.
Yeah. Well, the stuff. I mean, it came out in the mid '80s. I don't think I saw it till later because I was only like 8 when it came out. But it was a movie store rental. And believe it or not, my mom likes this movie.
Does she?
Eric's slow eating down here. Are you eating the stuff?
Are you eating it? Or is it eating you?
It's already taken over his mind.
It's good for you.
Yeah, it's good for you. This has no calories, no fat.
It has living things in it.
They're good for us, Jason. They kill the bad things inside us.
Yeah.
There are lots of
you
things.
got a little something. I was gonna say this. It's definitely my mom enjoys this movie. She finds it funny because it was meant to be a horror movie. It was in the horror section, but
Yeah.
to me, it's not very scary. It's a lot funnier than you would expect it to be.
It's funny. I was reading I was reading Ebert's review of this movie, and he was like, they tried to make a horror comedy. The problem is there's no horror to be found.
I mean, there's a couple of shots where you get a little bit of a jump scare type thing, but
Yeah.
it's not. They don't build suspense or anything like that. There's not a guy in a hockey mask or razor claw guys. There's not whatever in the woods. It's just the stuff coming out of the ground that hey, there's stuff coming out of the ground. Let me stick my fingers in it and put it in my mouth. Oh, it tastes great. Let's
no
put
sense.
Exactly.
No sense.
The first minute of the film, the guy sees stuff coming out of the ground and he immediately tastes it. In the first minute.
Well, not even the first minute. It's like the first 10 seconds.
Yeah. You're right.
What? What's that? What's that? Let me go stick my fingers in it and eat it.
That's what I do.
That's usually never a good idea. But yeah, I mean, literally, they're at a mining facility, and there's, like I said, and it's snowing outside or whatever it is, and then just look, let's eat this. The rule: don't eat yellow snow, but luckily it wasn't.
Yeah, it was white snow. It was white, but I'm sorry. If anything came bubbling up out of the ground, I'm not eating it. And that guy was right when it came. So, come on, taste it. No, fuck you. I'm not tasting something that came bubbling up out of the ground.
Listen to that guy. That guy was smart. Yeah, this is a movie I've seen quite often. My mom enjoyed it because she thought it was funny. The character Mo, she laughs about. So, and his dry humor through the whole movie where he takes himself seriously, but you can't.
No.
Through the whole movie. But yeah, it's definitely one I've seen quite a few times. It was my pick. Eric had said, let's pick something off the wall, whatever like that. I said, dude, let's do the stuff. So
great pick, man. I never seen it and I really enjoyed it. I mean, I'm really glad that you it wasn't even on my radar. So I'm really glad that you recommended it. I had fun with it.
Oh, there's a few more that are like that. I mean, we might get to like the Food of the Gods and Night of the Lepus and stuff like that. Squirm. That's another good one.
I was excited because I got an opportunity to watch my Arrow Blu-ray special
Blu-ray
edition,
4K Steelbook limited edition. What?
Which I hadn't watched yet. So, but I don't know. My opinion of this movie might differ from you guys.
Well, I can think I remember. I had it. I think I was staying with Josh, and I got him to watch it with me.
I don't even know if I watched it all the way through.
I don't think you watched it all the way through, but you were like the stuff, and you're like, yeah, I've heard of. Let's sit here and watch it. And I don't think you ever finished it. I mean, you were a busy man. But,
I mean, coming out of the gate, I will say the reason this movie probably isn't as well known and why it might be under people's radar in the horror community is because it came out around the same time as the Blob remake, and this is the cheap man's Blob, guys. I mean,
and it didn't even get a full release. It was a limited national release.
Yeah.
It was at New World Cinema at the time that owned them. They didn't even give it a full release. I mean, it had a budget of like 100.7 million. They don't even tell you how much money it made because it probably made about 20,000.
Well,
back.
yeah, I mean,
I
watched I actually watched the special features for this one to get a little more background on it because I didn't feel like I had a whole lot to say about the movie, so I figured I better study up about the background of it a little bit. But Larry Cohen, who directed this, he's an interesting fellow.
Yeah, he's
made
some interesting movies.
Yeah, and I was watching these special features, and apparently a lot of the people that worked with him on the set and everything have a lot of stories about him, about how he was very like go, and not, they tiptoed around it, but they said everything but abusive to them.
If you make the mistake of mixing friendship with business with Larry and you take him the wrong way, you're not going to have a very good time. And I'm grateful to Larry because he really taught me some valuable lessons working with him, because he would get really mad at me on the set when things would go wrong and he's watching his watch because, we got a fairly tight budget, but he could really bust your chops.
It was just weird because they're like, oh, I respect him. He's a great filmmaker, blah, blah, blah. But I was working for 24 hours on this shoot and I did this. And he said, blah, like, it was just weird to hear them talk about their experience on this movie. And, but I was watching him talk about how he came up with the idea and everything. He has a very big distaste for the cigarette industry, which is kind of what inspired this story a little bit.
I'd wanted to do a movie about consumerism and about the poisons in our society and the people that make money from selling poisons to people. And today, of course, it's even more prevalent than when we made the picture. In those days, it was mainly cigarettes.
Sure.
And just consumerism, period.
Yeah, it's the American consumerism. That's what we do as Americans. There's just something cool out there. The media and everybody are going to put it in your face 24 hours a day. And this is even before the internet.
Right.
Every commercial, you saw a cigarette commercial, a Coke commercial, a fast food chain commercial. And that's kind of what this whole movie is about. It's about how we are addicted to everything that's put in our face. And then as Americans, we just take off and run with it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we have McRibs at Walmart, or not Walmart, but McDonald's 2 or 3 times a year. Right. Sorry, there's another one. Walmart shoved down our throats every day.
Yeah. And it's kind of funny listening to him talk about consumerism and how much it's just this evil thing in the world. Yet throughout this movie, he's got product placement everywhere. Like, you got
but that's
McDonald's,
the whole point.
You got KFC, you got Coca-Cola.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of a meta thing, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Or an easy way to explain just making some money.
Yeah, right. And that's the point, because literally they were talking about, get the, and he could have said, I need to make some photocopies. No, he actually used the word Xerox.
Xerox, yeah.
On purpose.